Jeff, this is all part of the energy transition and how the industry manages the today with the future, when it definitely seems like cleaner energy is going to be where we're at in 30 years. Where are we today in the industry?
Well, thanks, Alex. Look, I think today oil and gas is still the most important source of affordable and abundant energy today, and it will be for a very long time. Though I also do believe a transition is underway, and a transition takes time and has many constituent parts. And so that's how we view the future, particularly with Halliburton Labs, as working along that transition and all the many things that have to happen when we get to the end.
In the meantime, it's like you still need your traditional business to generate the cash flow to then do other stuff, something that all the big companies are struggling with. Have we hit bottom here in the U.S. with the rig count and the frac crews? Like, do you see recovery in the back half for you guys?
Yeah, we do see some recovery in the back half, though modest, as we would describe it. I think the completion activity, frac activity reached a bottom in the second quarter. I think we'll see drilling activity reach a bottom in the third quarter. And then with, like I said, some modest recovery now, though, all setting up for what I expect will be a very strong eventual recovery. But that's when demand is recovered and supply is somewhat in check.
Jeff, good morning. Guy Johnson in London. When that recovery comes, do you think that recovery will come more strongly in the United States for your business or outside the United States for your business?
Yeah, I think we'll probably see more recovery internationally when the big recovery comes, just because of the sort of the capital constraints that we've seen in North America. Though look, North America is a very important business for Halliburton and a place where we will lead. But I do think it may be a smaller, though in our view, a more profitable and stable market longer term in North America, with more of the growth in some of the other markets internationally.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I just take like Apache, for example, is a good example of that. Sort of their E&P area here in the U.S., nothing. But it's really their expansion that they're doing in Suriname, which is a deep water offshore that sort of got all the attention, got the stock up super high, et cetera. Are you actively going to shift workers out of North America to international areas in the short term?
Well, we have a terrific international business today, and so it wouldn't be a matter of shifting workers internationally. We have a fantastic team internationally today. It's more around how we size the business and some of the tools we use to manage cost. For example, you saw in the second quarter a real demonstration of what I would call an earnings power reset around a smaller but more nimble North America team.
Okay, smaller, more nimble. Let's talk about headcount, Jeff, because there seems to be some ambiguity around this. You're cutting your headcount sort of from 50K, you're just north of 40K now, we understand. Do you have a headcount target right now for this business?
Look, less of a target. Look, that's a thing that no CEO wants to do, is reduce headcount. But unfortunately, it's just what the market demanded. We didn't start with a target, but what we did is we've been able to reduce headcount in a permanent way and take advantage of all the digital tools that we have to operate the business just at a lower cost point. And those were strategies we'd had in place for some time, but we're able to really accelerate them given all the disruption.
Do you feel like you have room to cut beyond the $1 billion program that you announced in April? Sort of short term, and then how that kind of feeds into longer term restructuring plans?
Well, short term, we announced the $1 billion or took action on the $1 billion in the second quarter. There was actually $300 million ahead of that. And so our outlook is we will continue to improve capital efficiency and reduce costs. Think near term, $1 billion for the, this $1.3 billion is the right number. But that means that we will continue to work at using tools that bring our costs down. So it's a continual journey, in my view, into the future.
Jeff, I talked to the CEO of Airbus a little bit earlier on, and he made the point to me that you don't want to cut so far that you can't recover when that recovery comes. Where's the sweet spot for you? you get the business down to a point where it's sustainable in the current environment, but doesn't kill off the opportunity when the recovery comes to grow back. Are we getting close to that point now? Are the programs that you've announced thus far going to take us to that point?
Yes, I mean, I think we are at that point now, and we've been very careful about how we've reduced costs. Again, with the view to how do we scale it back, but at a lower cost point. And again, some of the tools that we're using today allow us to do that. So we've reduced infrastructure by about half in North America. So we've closed 100 facilities, but we're able to do that because of the work process, the tools, the new technology that we put to work. And even on the capital expenditure front, as we look out into the future, just the digital twinning of manufacturing as an example, allowing us to operate a bigger business, but at a much smaller cost point.
So then tie this into the innovation lab that you guys launched today. How quickly do you need to pivot to a world where there's clean energy? The oil majors in Europe have been doing it really quickly and really with big numbers. How quickly can and do you need to do it?
Well, look, I take a really long view of this. Again, oil and gas services are our business, certainly today and for as far into the future as I can see. But at the same time, we know that there is a transition underway. And, when we thought about, how does Halliburton participate in that? We have a great inventory of technology and laboratories, and we view it as the crossroads, really, the crossroads of academics, entrepreneurs, investors, and industrial labs. And as we start down that journey, we thought about Bell Labs in the historically, and those components. And if you think about the journey for communications, it started with copper wire and phone poles. They had to invent the dial tone and the busy signal. So I see it as a journey like that, and Halliburton can clearly participate in that.